Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode. This is Daniel coming live to you from TechRestore. Today, we're going to go over some of the things that have changed since iOS 10 and iOS 11. One of the most prominent things, in my opinion, that has changed is that you can really change the control center now, which is really awesome. And we're going to go over how the control center has changed, like you see here, and how to customize it to the best of your usage. So to customize the control center, we're going to do something called swipe down. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos where if you're ever looking for an app, like let's say I can't find any of my apps or anything like that, and I have so many pages of apps, I can't find them. Remember, at any time, if you take your finger, start at the middle of the screen and swipe down, you can type in what you're looking for. While settings is on the screen right here, I'm still going to type up here, settings. And notice it immediately starts to look for anything with the words that match what I'm typing. So I'm going to touch here in the settings. Now, where we're going to change stuff today is the control center. Now at the very top, it'll say this right here, and you just scroll down till you see control center, which I'm lighting up right now. Now, the neat thing about control center and why I like it so much better now is instead of flipping through card after card with different options, it's all in one screen now. And you can even tell the phone what screens and apps you want to access from Control Center. So we're going to go into Customize Control Center here. And you can also have the basic ones like timer, alarm, flashlight, etc. Now I have added one recently called Magnifier, and I'm actually going to do a very brief lesson about Magnifier and why I love it so much. But just know that you can scroll down here and pick anything you want. Like for example, I want to pick timer. So if you notice towards the bottom there, I have timer, and all you have to do to add this to the control center screen is touch the plus button. Now, one of the things that came up earlier was, well, when I go to my control center screen, which I'm going to hit the home button to go down, and that minimizes the app. Anytime you hit the home button, it will always minimize whatever app you're in. Now notice if I start at the bottom like before and I swipe up, if you have a white iPhone, start where the white is. If you have a black iPhone, start where the black is at the very bottom and then swipe up towards the top. It'll bring the control center up. Now let's say, for example, I wanted magnifying glass and timer in different locations. You can change how these show up. So for example, I'm going to hit the home button again, and I'm going to go back into settings by swiping down with my finger and clicking on the settings because I had already typed in settings. Now, it's hard to see, but on the right-hand side of all the ones that say include, you notice it's got three little line or hash marks there. That is where you tell the iPhone where to put it in relation of the control center. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold down on that little line. See, it kind of lifts it up and it moves it around. So what I'm going to do is drop the alarm all the way at the very bottom. And you know what? I'm going to put flashlight at the very bottom too. And I'm doing this just by simply touching and holding down until that pops up. It may be hard to see on this video, but it actually looks like it's lifting up off the screen. Now that I have that, you will see that when I hit the home button and swipe up, notice the orientation has changed. Calculator is right here up front first. So it's personal preference. Like I use my alarms a lot and I use Magnify a lot, and I use my flashlight probably the most. So for example, I'm going to put my flashlight to be the first thing. I'm going to hit the home button here. I'm going to swipe down to get into settings. And I'm going to take the flashlight now. Remember, I'm going to hold these three lines until they pop up on the phone. And I'm just going to slide this thing up. I'm never lifting my finger off of it. I'm going to drop flashlight as the first thing, that's the first accessible thing on your control center. Now let's go back to control center by hitting the home button to go back to the home screen. And I'm simply going to swipe up, and notice now instead of calculator being first, flashlight is first. I really like what Apple did with this, because I'm sure if you guys remember, before you actually had to swipe in between different stuff, between music and different types of activities using the control center. Now with one simple swipe up, you can turn your cell off, you can put airplane mode off, you can turn Bluetooth on and off, you can turn Wi-Fi on and off, you can quickly play or skip to the next song. It's all on one screen. And this drastically changed from iOS 10 to iOS 11. That's why I want to do just a quick video about how great it is. Now to get rid of Control Center, you can always touch the arrow on the very top where it was, or you can always hit the home button. One thing you'll probably hear me repeat a lot, and it's going to be in a lot of these little tidbits and tricks. The home button will always take you home. It does not matter at all what program you're in. If I'm in settings to photos to mail, hit that home button, it takes you home. One quick thing I also want to address is notice I'm in settings again. And always on the top left hand side of any program at any time, this goes from iOS 8 to iOS 11. This is on all operating systems. Notice it says Control Center. If I keep hitting those little top left arrows pointing to the left, it'll always eventually take me back to where I started, which is a general settings tab. So just know that no matter how deep you go into something, general, about, etc., I can always go into settings and it will always, or I'm sorry, I can always hit the left hand arrow and it'll always take me back. No matter how far I go into a program, there will always be a back arrow. This is very prolific in photos and making adjustments. All right, guys, so what we went over today, guys and gals, what we went over today is how to change your control center to make it to your liking. And also what has changed about Control Center from iOS 10 to iOS 11. I personally am a really big fan of what they did here. I can easily adjust my screen brightness. I can easily adjust the volume. I can push the flashlight itself. Now, quick tip also, if you have a 6S and above with Force Touch, if you hold down on the flashlight button, I can make my flashlight brighter or darker. This is a really cool feature, but just know it's only on anything with Force Touch, aka 6S and above. So I'm going to touch that to turn my flashlight off. I'm going to close this, and the beautiful model in the background is my cat. If you guys are cat lovers, she is the best. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in today of what has changed from iOS 10 to iOS 11 on the Control Center. There's other caveats and different things that have changed also that we're going to have a web series about. But to me, the biggest change from iOS 10 to iOS 11 is the Control Center. So feel confident to be able to go in those settings, hit the plus sign of what you want to change, settings, Control Center, and then customize. To take one away, you simply hit the minus and hit remove. If you want to put it back, you scroll back down, plus sign, adds it right back. All right, friends, I really appreciate you tuning in and be looking for some more web series coming up in the very short future.